think it's a shared responsibility between the organizations that run websites and people visit, and people themselves who need to be aware of the risks that they take.
I think there's a pretty fuzzy line between people taking responsibility of their own, the information they put on the internet.
The government in our country has, I think, adopted a policy of trying to safeguard citizens.
I don't think people actually knew what the language of the litigation really was. I think they just heard online restrictions or limitations, and kind of immediately just had that freedom response, like, this is America, you can't take away our online freedoms.
If the government implements more regulations on the internet, it's costly for people who provide the websites and the other services on the internet to comply with those.
Are the privacy policies of social networking sites effective enough to protect the people who use them?
Probably not. I think each of the sites has different privacy policies and what they can do with the information. On the other hand, if you want to have Facebook remain free, and many of the services on the internet remain free, then the way they generate revenue is to use the data that people have provided them for displaying ads. And the question is, where does that stop? In essence, I like to think people own their own data, but I think you're surrendering some of that ownership right when you agree to use the services. Almost all of them are voluntary. In a perfect world, they wouldn't have any access to it, okay? But because you've put it online and it's open, there's very little way to protect that.
So, if somebody asks, for my Facebook information, if an employer asks for my Facebook information, I'd say, no, I don't know if I really want to work here.
I'm not sure people were terribly concerned about privacy 15 years ago or 20 years. Privacy is a much more, it's a topic more people are aware of now, and probably the safeguards have not kept up with that concern.
Yeah, I don't think the definition of privacy has changed. I think just the context in which we are private or choose not to be private has changed.
So I think it does tend to probably lead to more superficial relationships with a larger number of people.